Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to season 2 of Celebrity Big Brother US coverage of Recency Bias Radio. I am your humble host, Dave Smith, Pretty Boy Smitty, Protocol Paul, Pearl Game, Ultra, Smith Dog, Trill, all of the above on that ISAT test and that ACT. You know what it is. Happy Martin Luther King Day to everyone. I hope you got the day off. I hope you were able to support your local black businesses. But we're not here for that, ladies and gentlemen. We're here to discuss this 2-night premiere. Part 1 happened tonight. I hope you all are ready for my hot takes. I was paying attention to this episode very clearly, and I can tell you, I feel like I won that draft. I feel like I won that draft. I feel like everybody I picked, well, except maybe Eva. All right, let me call a spade there. It looks like I may have whiffed on that one. She's doing a few things I can't agree with, but outside of Eva, I'm actually trying to make sure that the playback is going fine, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm actually searching for this video, but for whatever reason, I haven't found it yet in the search engine. Give me 1 second. Let me just go to my videos, because I just want to make sure y'all are watching this live with me. Y'all can hear me the whole 9. That way I can unleash the beast within. Dang, man, these ads be loud as hell, coach. I be trying. Okay, y'all can hear me. All right, that's all I needed to know. Shout outs to the mighty mods. Y'all know I'm out here with the Recency Bias Radio t-shirts. I am doing stuff logistically on the background, on the back end, to try to be able to sell y'all some merch. We're going to try to get that popping, ladies and gentlemen. But let's talk that odd shit tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I'm calling this episode Whenever You Ready, boo, because I feel like Tamar stole the show tonight. You know, she stole the show tonight so much that Raven hit me up on Twitter and said, damn it, I wish I picked her. Okay, that's what you get for reaching for Ryan Lochte. Okay, that's what you get, coach. And we got a lot of stuff to talk about. I mean, we got the power pairing twist, which I think is more bullshit by CBS and production. I mean, let's be real. The last time they came up with some pair twist nonsense was when they tried to save Jordan Lloyd and Rachel's ass. We all remember that from BB13. So this felt like I was torn in between. Is this them trying to help the pregame alliances with this twist? Or are they trying to hurt the pregame alliances with this twist? So I was watching very carefully by these picks, ladies and gentlemen. And for Ryan Lochte to choose John, and for his excuse to be, oh, I wanted someone that looked intelligent, I was like, that excuse don't fly with me, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if it flew with you, it flew out with you, I don't know. But at the end of the day, I wasn't buying that bullshit. And Ryan Lochte, can you please stop trying to be extra cool and rapping and stuff like that? I mean, how do you go from doing some racist shit in Brazil to culturally appropriating our cultural Big Brother celebrity? I can't make this shit up, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, but of course, certain people are eating this shit up. Okay, they think he had one hell of a premiere night. Do I? Not necessarily. I think he came off as a tryhard. Oh, Lochte can't be on the Blockty. Like, what kind of lame ass? This is some shit I would expect Shrek to come up with if you asked him to spit a 16 off the dome. Like, bro, like you did nothing for your chances here. And frankly, I'm just glad that Tamar ain't do nothing in this episode outside of when she walked in the house and she kind of like put her hands on his back and did that simple gesture to maybe let him know, hey, I'm with you. She really didn't do anything that was too outright I'm working with him, which is a good sign. But it does look like we have some drama on the horizon between her and Kandi Burruss, which isn't a good sign. And Tamar, there was a couple of things that I gotta be honest that I thought you misplayed at. Number one, when Julie says, remember the warning I gave all of you before you walked in? You know, it's not up to you, the sister, Tamar. I know you're excited. I know you're a super fan, but it ain't up to you to say expect the unexpected, all excited. She is the main one with all the sound effects when something happens in the house. She is showing way too much excitement. Hell, she was the one who initiated the toast, the ceremonial formality of a toast. And my thing is, why are you the one that wants to do it? And she's also dealing with the curse of being the first one to enter the house as well. So I think all of these things are playing a bad role. And then on top of that, her treating Kandi the way she did. Honestly, I was more worried about her picking Kandi in the first place. I thought if she picks Kandi in this scenario, on top, compounded with the mistake she's already made up until this point on day one, I mean, I'm thinking that she is not long for this game, and I was worried. But her confessional work is some of the best work. I mean, her confessional work is better than Omarosa's, okay? And that's hard to accomplish, okay? Now, granted, she had more experience with confessional work, okay? So she's gonna be a little bit more seasoned, okay? But I feel like she had a hell of an episode. Candy had a hell of an episode. I think everyone had a hell of an episode besides maybe Eva. Who else didn't have really that good of an episode? And maybe Dina. I didn't think Dina had that good of an episode either. I don't think anyone learned anything about her. But her rebrand is crazy too. She's trying to act like, oh, I was the greatest mom in the world. You don't know anything about me and my daughters. It's like, yeah, I bet we don't, coach. And what was up with that spin she did? Like she was in the fucking, do you remember? Like she was in the Michael Jackson video. Y'all see that spin she did? I was like, what is that shit, coach? But anyway, that's neither here nor there. You know, I'm gonna get into frying motherfuckers tonight. But yeah, so from a strategic standpoint, I thought Ryan Lochte choosing John was an immediate red flag, ladies and gentlemen. I immediately thought this is pregame alliance 101 here because it really didn't make any sense for him to pick him. And when you take into account that for all intents and purposes, I could see CBS, depending on who covers the Olympics next year. Usually it's NBC, but you never know with these things. Yeah, I just don't know what CBS's angle is in all of this, okay? Are they going all in with my opinion on this with John? And see, why would they come up with this twist knowing that only one person would be HOH and the other would be a nominee? This is what I think they were hoping for, ladies and gentlemen. I think they were hoping that John would win the HOH, Ryan Lochte would be the nominee, and I think they was hoping things would be flipped. Because I think if things were flipped, I think production would be much more comfortable. Because getting a preview of these live streams, of these live feeds, ladies and gentlemen, I would have never thought John was on the block. Now, he was acting very controlled, and I was kind of suspicious of that because everyone thought he would come in the house as a firecracker. But seeing that he didn't really make any mistakes, but he's still going to end up being on the block, spoiler alert to anyone that doesn't know who's HOH at this point, but yeah, so Ryan Lochte's HOH. And now that we know that the power pair twist is basically to create one person that's on the block, one person that isn't on the block, then that creates a whole different dichotomy of strategy to who you choose as your partner. Do you choose someone that is just trash? But if you choose someone that is trash, you're more likely not going to win the competition itself to be in the position to beat them one-on-one, which beckons the next question. Do you pick someone who is strong on purpose with a pre-competition deal to allow this person to be a nominee, with some deal that even if you're put up on the block, this might work best for us in the long run because no one will expect you to still work with me after you were my nominee. But I can't help but ask this question that why would I think that y'all aren't still working together when there is a twist forcing you as the nom? It's not as if this person chose you as the nom. It's not really a true backstabbing per se. So that beckons another question. So, you know, this does add another wrinkle of gameplay, and I think it's better so far on night one. I think right now we're in a good place, but this season needs to be careful. I mean, 12 minutes in, and we already got a Kato Kalin talking about O.J. Simpson. I mean, come on, man. Couldn't y'all let us wait 40 minutes first? I mean, can we get to the first commercial break, coach? I'm just saying. I got a feeling we gonna get hit with the overload when it comes to OJ coverage, when it comes to Trump coverage. They're gonna hit us with the overload. But outside of that, I was really impressed. I was fairly impressed with every house guest. I was really impressed with the fact that Lolo is such a competitor. She ain't even rocking Ryan like that. And in fact, the self-awareness that she displayed in this episode to admit out loud that, yeah, she did know Ryan because of the Olympics. I mean, I thought that was the elephant in the room. For her to admit that in front of Tamar was smart. I think if she were to act like she never really knew Ryan, Tamar would immediately call bullshit on that, and it maybe would have burned a bridge between the two ladies. So hopefully they can build from that. And if Tamar is truly working with Ryan, then maybe all three of them are together anyway, and that was all just a big work on the rest of the house that came in the first six. Who knows? The other three, I mean. So, I mean, I'm excited, though. I mean, I ain't even going to lie. I mean, you know, we got a few boring people here and there, but you got to have a few of them because you're going to have too many over-the-top people. So you got to have some people that can just be the first few out and we'll be okay with it for a while, okay? So I'm okay with that. But, yeah, so kudos to Lolo for showing some self-awareness, knowing that she's a massive target. I didn't appreciate them discussing her virginity in her opening montage. Like, once again, I just thought it was insensitive, but that's neither here nor there. But from a strategic standpoint, yeah, it does feel like she'll last much longer than Eva and most likely Ricky Williams. It feels like Eva dodged a huge bullet being safe this week with Kato Kaelin. And the thing that Eva did was she kind of reprimanded Kato Kaelin for kind of pandering to the house guests who were competing. And see, I can see where Eva's coming from, and I can see where Kato's coming from. Kato is feeling like, oh, we're free for this week, and we didn't do nothing to really deserve it besides being the last one in the schoolyard pick'em. The best thing for me to do to acquiesce not acquiesce, but to work my way into the good graces of these people that aren't safe is for me to cheer for all of them. But I agree with Eva from the pretense that it makes you look extra fake because you're just rooting for everyone, right? It's almost like you're just dick riding for the sake of dick riding because you know you're safe. And these people are smart enough to know what game that you're running. So I can see it from both sides. But here's my curveball. I think only someone who could have known Eva from his past of playing strip poker could have taken something like that, a harsh reprimand like that. Like she really gave him the full tea on himself right there immediately. Now, here's my question. Does a total stranger talk to you that way, talk down to you in that way when both of you are safe in week one? I doubt it. I think for sure that the ongoing investigation that I pulled off showing that he has a history of knowing WWE divas, I think this is paying some dividends now with both of them safe, because I think only someone who knows you ahead of time would tell you that about you because they want you to stick around. I think Eva was truly trying to look out for him. Now, if Kato truly knows her before the game, he's going to take that on the chin and he's going to adjust. But we've seen clips of this motherfucker doing karate and taekwondo in the damn kitchen. So obviously he ain't listening to what she's talking about. but at the end of the day, I think Kato, I think he's in a good position as well. Who is going to target Kato next week, right? Over Eva? I mean, Eva's going before Kato any day of the week, okay? And you know what I think? I think this power pairing thing is like all these other twists. It'll disappear as soon as like the riffraff leaves and they're a little too worried about some shit. And but all in all, though, I think this power pairing stuff, it feels a little too riggish for me, especially coming off some of those football games yesterday. It just feels a little too riggish. But at the same time, no, it is different, and it's a different form of strategy, and it's a different way for me to judge people's gameplay. So I think it's good in the long run because we'll be able to see all of these players in unique positions that they've never seen on TV yet, so they have to approach it for the first time. And we're going to see a lot of mistakes come out of this, but we're going to see a great player. What I think is going to be an unpredictable great player that comes out of this season based off this twist being here pre-jury. I think it'll be gone right before jury starts. And I think that's when that specific player, whether that's going to be one of my sleepers in the pre-rankings or not. And by the way, if you haven't, ladies and gentlemen, check out my first two preseason rants. I did my rankings for the 12 house guests on my first one. That one was called WTF. Okay, so check that out. And also, we went ahead and did a draft in the last one. If you haven't checked that out as well, be sure to check that one out, of course, after watching this live. But just want to go ahead and plug that real quick. But did you guys also notice how CBS went out of their way to make sure the first six had Candy and Tamar in this group, and then in the other group, you had John and Dita be introduced back to back? You know, and I also have another question. Did they show Ryan Lochte first? Did they only introduce him first because they knew he was HOH? Was that one of those edit tricks? Or were they always going to introduce him first? You know, because that's interesting. Usually the person you introduce first, you know, usually the casual audience, they kind of get hooked on that first person. So I wonder if that's another tactic to rebrand Ryan Lochte by showcasing his family and all this stuff before we get into all the other players. That also has to be taken into account. And I'm really going to be looking forward to this veto comp. And I'm really going to be looking forward to what Big Brother and CBS and production, the whole umbrella fly on the wall. I'm very interested to what they do with John, because with John in trouble like this, clearly he's a huge asset, and he's someone that they want to be one of the storytellers of this season. I'm sure Tamar is someone they picked to be one of the storytellers as well. But John, you could clearly tell Dina's not the storyteller, right? This is John's game to tell in so many words. So my question is, what is production going to do to get him off the block or to get him safe this week? Are they going to rig this veto comp? You know, the feeds start tonight. I hope they start tonight. Oh, matter of fact, they might not start tonight because we haven't seen part 2 yet. Wow. So feeds might not start till tomorrow. I hope they start tonight. I hope they do. But all in all, I would like y'all to comment below. What do you think production's gonna do to save John this week? Y'all know John ain't going nowhere. Come on, let's be honest. There's no way he's going anywhere. So what do y'all think production's gonna whip out of their hat to help him? Do you think it'll be the veto competition, just being something John would be good at? Do you think there'll be someone that takes him off the block that wins veto? Or do you think he'll just stay on the block until eviction night and he'll just be saved next to whoever he's sitting next to? That's my question to y'all. How y'all think this is going to play out? I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure, because as the episode's going along, up until they revealed the whole power pair twist being, if you're not HOH, you're a nominee, I thought John had a masterclass of an episode. He was able to be himself, but he wasn't able, he didn't do none of the stuff everyone expected him to do. Tamar ended up doing in a way. So he kind of got off with that. And he can always use Tamar now, like Omarosa was used by Ross. Ross always kind of used Omarosa kind of like his shield. He always knew, oh, at the end of the day, I could always lobby everyone against Omarosa before they target me, right? And I'm just worried that that's going to be how this game plays out. That John realizes the only other person that really knows this game is Tamar. I need her in this game for a long period of time so no one figures out and sniffs out my bullshit. And I could definitely see this playing out similarly. But yeah, it's very interesting. It's very interesting. But yeah, and did you also notice when Dina walked out and John noticed her, he tried to make one of them Shannon Elizabeth faces like he didn't know she was going to be there. Like, terrible actor. I see why I ain't seen you in another big movie. A terrible actor, okay? Terrible actor. Like, as soon as he saw her, I knew he was thinking about it. We got this in the bag. You feel me? He gave her a quick little hug. If I would have been standing next to them, well, see, I don't think I would have known who John Bennett was if I wasn't doing Rant coverage. Damn. So I would have been kind of in the dark of this Dina Lohan shit. I would have needed both of them to say something to me just in passing during the game socially. And I would have just had to connect dots and then force a flip based off of that information. But if I'm John, I wouldn't play up being in Mean Girls too much. But I don't know. If these people know who Joey Lawrence is, they probably know about Mean Girls as well. So I don't know. Could be between a rock and a hard place, but it's interesting. Another question that I have for y'all. There was rumors that 2 house guests were left the house before this season started. Do you think there's any possible chance that Big Brother could have replaced them with 2 people and then restarted the game all over again? Because those 2 groups of 6 was a specific group of 6 each time. And I just can't help but ask the question, why phrase it as 2 people left the house if they were never inside the actual house? Why not say 2 people left sequester? See, I've seen articles saying 2 people actually left the game. Now that's kind of, I guess that's kind of, I guess that could mean anything in a way, but who knows? Who knows? But ambiguous. That was the word I was looking for the whole time. I was thinking like, what's the word I'm looking for? But anyway, so yeah, so I'm very interested to see where this power pair twist will go. And I'm really hoping that Tamar can, just turn it down a few notches. If she can manage to turn that down a few notches, I think this season is going to be very entertaining. I think it's going to be very good. And I think Ryan Lochte, he has the look of that classic first HOH who gets that HOH-itis towards the end of the week. And I think this is the longest HOH reign, is the first HOH. I think that's usually how Celebrity Big Brother US works. Because if the eviction's on Friday, and this is only 3 weeks long, Coach, that means we got to have another, 10 evictions in 2 weeks? You see what I'm saying? So I think this being the longest HOH of the season definitely will play a role in the HOH-itis playing a huger role. And I think people will remember Ryan Lochte, all the negative that came with him being an HOH, it will stick with people the longest because he had the longest reign. So I think it's going to play a role in his downfall sooner or later. And if it doesn't, pregame alliance confirmed. But yeah, so I'm actually very excited. Is there anybody that I didn't cover? Is there anybody that I didn't cover? I pretty much covered everybody up until this point. Oh, and of course, Julie Chen, she had to go ahead and drop the Chen Moonves bomb on us again. She doesn't really give a fuck no more, ladies and gentlemen. She really doesn't. I'm worried that Julie won't be around much longer after this, and that's why she's on don't give a fuck train. Usually when you let yourself go a bit, now I don't mean physically, I just mean you stop giving two fucks. Usually it's because you're on borrowed time anyway. So I'm hoping that's not what it is. But yeah, Julia, it would help if you just came forward and kept it a buck. But that's neither here nor there. That's not strategy talk. But I thought that was interesting. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, the only other thing that I want to mention is we got to keep our eyes on Tony Mooch and Dina Lohan, because this is only the first episode. This is only the first part of the premiere. And I've already heard this guy, Tony Mooch, mention the Long Island. Long Island. We're both from Long Island. He keeps mentioning this. He's mentioned it so much that this feels like a pregame alliance as well. And see, this was actually one of the few predictions I had pregame. I said, Tony Mooch seems like a guy that was picked solely to push Dina Lohan deeper into the game. And the fact that both of them ended up being on each other's partner, the fact that Dina picked him herself and then said, he was the only person I recognized. I couldn't remember anyone else's names. Shut your dumb ass up. Okay, there's no way in hell you didn't know anybody else's name. You didn't know Kato Kaelin's name. As old as you are, you don't remember the OJ trial when you've been living in Cali for the past 30 years. Come on, Dina. Probably longer than that. But you see my point, okay? That was all a bullshit excuse to cover up the pregame alliance. I'm peeping game early, ladies and gentlemen. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, this was just a quick rant. This is just me giving you a quick little jab, a quick little 1-2 punch. I'm going to be back with y'all on the next episode, and we're going to talk more. But, you know, the way this game moves, the pace of it is very quick. But I'm going to get to asking questions now, ladies and gentlemen, because I've pretty much covered everything I thought was interesting from this episode. So please comment below with questions. I'm willing to take 5 to 10 questions, depending on how hot they are. Y'all got hot takes, we can get it popping, okay? We missed you, Dave. Thank you, Sentiment Complex. I missed y'all too. You know what I'm saying? I definitely did, you know? Let me see. You think Deanna and him are working with him? Oh, Dina, my fault. You think Dina and him are working with him? I doubt Lindsay and him remain friends, though. See, here's the thing. I think to a certain extent, this is played up a little too hard because Lindsay and her mom's relationship is played up like it's estranged. Then you got John Bennett, who the biggest clout he ever got was because of Lindsay. I can't see him truly hating her. You feel me? If it wasn't for Lindsay's existence, he wouldn't even be on this season. He can't hate her that much. You feel what I'm saying? So I think it's overblown to cover up the pregame riggery in this motherfucker. I truly believe this, okay? And we'll see. Hey, don't believe me, just watch. You feel me? Trinidad James. You know what I'm saying? Go to all the watching. You know what I'm saying? You know, she didn't have it. Who do you think is on the block? That's a great question from Mr. Cohen Wyatt. Well, they would have to be next to John. If I'm Ryan and I pick John, John is gonna most likely try to do what he can to not get rid of John. I doubt Ryan Lochte wants to be known as the guy coming off of the 2016 Olympics clusterfuck. I doubt he wants to be the guy, the debacle. I doubt he wants to be the guy that sends home a gay person or a black person. So I'm gonna rule off Candy, Tamar, John, and I'm going to rule out Ricky Williams for this eviction. I think whoever is sitting next to, but see, here's the thing. Kato and Eva are safe. That's 6 people that are safe. There's 1 HOH and there's 1 on the block. Meaning what? There's only 4 other people to choose from, coach, which would be Tony Mooch, Joey Lawrence. Who else would be left? Tony Mooch, Joey Lawrence. Who am I leaving out? Hold on, let me look at my roster real quick, coach. Y'all know me. I'll be breaking this down in my head, but it's hard to remember 12 names off your dome. So Tony Mooch. Hold on, wait. Let me go to my other notes. Not from the draft, from that All right. Now I'm looking at it. It would have to be Tony Mooch, Lolo Jones. And the thing is, does he send Lolo home? I doubt it. I think that would make him look bad to his Olympic friend. So she's not going to be on the block. So really, it's between 3 people. It's between Joey Lawrence, Tom Green, and Tony Mooch. And I could see Ryan Lochte wanting to send home Tom Green first. Amongst those 3 men, I can see him want to send Tom Green home first because Tony Mooch, I think, is working with Dina, who's working with John, who's trying to work with Ryan. So why would he send home him? So it's really between Tom Green and Joey Lawrence. So I'm saying this right now. Don't be surprised if you see Tom Green or Joey Lawrence sitting on the block right next to John Bennett. I could see that. And let's be real here. Tom Green was acting weird, cooking tuna steaks and stuff. I'm just saying, I think Joey Lawrence lasts another week over Tom Green. And Tom Green is 6'4". Ryan Lochte will probably size him up and go, you're the only person who could beat me in my type of comps. I don't know if he will think that way, but I think if he purposely picked John because he thought he was the smartest, in reality, I think the smartest is clearly Tom Green. But if he picked John with that excuse, and once again, that excuse is just as much bullshit as Dina's excuse for picking Tony Mooch. But if he selected him for that reason, just because he was smart, the smartest thing to do is take out the other only smart guy in the game, perception-wise, Tom Green. So I could definitely see Tom Green being in huge trouble here. So I'm really worried for Tom Green. Now, I didn't draft him. So, hey, you know, my team looking clean, though. If John survived this week, I'm telling you, my team looking clean. You feel it, Dick? They looking clean. Except Eva, deliver us from Eva. She tripping. But once again, I think her form of social game, her form of tripping, even though it might come off a little entitled, and she will rub some women the wrong way, I think Kato will understand where she's coming from because I think he's been in those WWE circles and he knows her. So that's my reason for that. But let's get to another question, ladies and gentlemen. I think I went ahead and bodied that like a savage. Ghost Hunter asked the question, any surprise in the episode for you? Someone you didn't think would be any good, but when you saw them play and interact with others, it made you rethink. Kandi Burruss. Really impressed by Kandi Burruss. Honestly, I'm starting to think Kandi will survive longer than Tamar just because I think she's just less threatening. And I think she's more willing to just sit there. And even though she might not be in it, what you talking about, she's actually listening to people. She's letting them talk. I'm not saying Tamar ain't doing that because we ain't seen live feeds yet. I'm just whiffing right now in the wind because we ain't seen live feeds yet. The minute I get any access to that, it's gonna be like I got an Infinity Stone, Coach. I'm gonna be like, you feel me? I'm gonna be full Davos rant guy mode. But yeah, I'd say Kandi really surprised me. I'm really impressed by what she's doing. Ryan Lochte, he didn't do anything for me. In fact, I thought the edit would be a little bit better for him. I thought they wouldn't put something as corny as Lochte on the Blockty. Like I thought that CBS would be smart enough to at least have a ghostwriter for him to make him appear cool. I mean, where's Wendell Holland at? Where's Wendell Holland where you need him, damn it? He's one survivor. He should have qualified as a celebrity. We needed him to pop up in that DR and say, you have no bars, bro. Just stop rapping. You have no bars. Like, that's what we needed. We needed one black guy. But see, that goes back to Ricky Williams. They ain't picking nobody that's going to tell him he ain't got no bars. They're going to pick Ricky Williams as, you know what? I believe everyone should have the ability to spit. You know, that's Ricky Williams for you. We need a militant brother to say, you have no bars, coach. Okay? It's time to trade in your damn notebook pad. It's time. All right? Let it go. All right? But yeah, man, that's how I truly feel. So at the end of the day, the number one surprise is Kandi Burruss. Outside of her, though, I say Lolo did a good job of surprising me today as well. But let's stop talking about her virginity, please. Especially in this climate with Julie over here claiming, oh, Moonvest gang, especially with her throwing that shit up every 5 seconds. Last thing we need is someone being badgered about their virginity. Like let's calm down, coach. Let's calm down. All right. So that's how I feel, coach. That's legitimately how I feel. Okay, Cinnamon Complex asks, who do you think will team up? Well, pretty much, I think Tony Mooch will find his way in a 4-person alliance now with Ryan Lochte, John Bennett, and Dina Lohan. And I think John is going to remember the fact that he got put up on the block by Ryan, even if it wasn't Ryan's fault. And I think this is going to lead to him cutting Ryan off something grimy later in the game. I don't know if it's going to be Final 5, Final 6, but there's going to come a point where everyone's going to know we can't let Ryan get any further. And I think that's when John's going to pounce, and that might cost him a jury vote, and that might cost him a game. But I could definitely see John being the one to be like, it wasn't your fault, but I need you gone because you're my biggest threat amongst the men. So, but in terms of the other question from Rams fan for life, man, y'all are some of the luckiest motherfuckers in the world, Rams fam. You know what I'm talking about. That was some bullshit, okay? You know what I'm saying? Make me want to rewatch that Cowboys game to see. But anyway, he asked the question, what are your thoughts on Ricky Williams? I think Ricky Williams, I think he was kind of impressive too, but he was mainly only impressive when he wasn't around nobody. which isn't a good sign. Like Ricky by himself, oh, this brother seems complex and interesting. Like I said he was on the Shaolin monk side again. I mean, the dude said he's an acupuncturist. You feel me? Now, I doubt they're going to let him bring needles in that bitch. You know what I'm saying? That's the last thing they need is some needles in there. So when act crazy, get cut up. You know what I'm saying? People start doing a whole bunch of pranks. Oh, let's put a needle under a pillow. And the last thing we need is that to happen to a black person. Before you know it, Big Brother has been canceled this season. All hell would break loose. Hell yeah. But I don't know. I'm BSing. But yeah, I think Ricky Williams has a chance. I think he has a legit chance if Tamar and Candy, well, if Tamar can dictate the strategy of the game, I think she can definitely keep Ricky in the game as long as they kept Meta World Peace in the game. At least that long. Okay, I definitely think so. But then again, when we think about it, at the end of the day, Meta World Peace only stayed in the game as long as he really did because Keisha Knight Pulliam quit, basically, because of the whole breast milk gate. I remember all that shit. Oof, man. Breast milk gate. That was actually a good ass rant. I like that rant. Classic rants, coach. Classic rants. King Ubong. Shout out to my brother King Ubong. I ain't seen you in a minute. He asked the question, how soon until we see the white supremacist vibes from Lochte or anyone for that matter? Oh, it's coming, coach. It's only part one of the premiere. Okay, everyone must put their best foot forward, coach. This is like a date. Okay, I always say the first week of Big Brother is the getting to know her phase, the getting to know him phase. Okay, after that first week, if you still like the smell of them funky socks, okay, then you gonna last a while. Okay, but a lot of people crack after week 2, dealing with that gingivitis. But no, like. I think eventually we're going to see them definitely crack. We're going to see lines drawn very obviously. But until that power pair thing goes away, I think people are going to be a little scared to pick sides and draw them too strong because, you feel me? If you choose your side too strongly and that twist is still around, then you could inadvertently give away your entire game to the other side that may be the minority. Now they know they're the minority. Maybe they pull the person on the bottom of the majority. Now they become the majority just because you decided to be petty with the pick'em. You feel me? The last thing you want is that to occur. So I'm telling you, I mean, this has some potential here. I mean, it has some potential here. Usually I'm boo-boo or nay-nay on a lot of these premieres because I see the bullshit coming. And even though I do still see the bullshit coming, I ain't buying the bullshit. I'm not. I still think this has a lot of potential to be a really good season based off the characters. I think the characters are already more intriguing than last year's. But did you guys hear about how Real Vegas got exposed? She got exposed. Shout outs to I believe his name is Amon Adwin. Shout outs to that brother for exposing Real Vegas. Supposedly, I believe Tiffany Pollard was never approached to be on this show, confirmed by Allison Grodner. So all of that hot shit that Real Vegas was spewing, you've been exposed, coach. You feel me? You know, it's like I said in the last, no, this was 2 rants ago. It's like I said 2 rants ago. If you ain't telling us the truth, what are you good for? I hate to say it that way, but it's the truth, coach. We love you as much as we can reap benefits from you. You feel me? The minute we realize you're fan fiction, we ain't rocking with it no more, coach. All right? Shout out to RHAP. All right? So that's my answer to that question. Shout outs to Budgie. He said, who is Vegas then? I agree. Who is she? You know, if a tree falls in the forest and no one's there to hear it, does it exist? If a motherfucker tells you a whole bunch of shit on Twitter and it ain't true, do you care? But anyway, okay, Budgie asked the question, who is dumber than they appear? Who is smarter than they appear? Without a doubt, Kato Kaelin's smarter than he appears. I don't care what none of y'all say. There's a method to his madness. He recognized the fact that he was safe for a week and that people would look at him a little side-eye as they're competing. So he's overtly giving them support to show them that he's in this with them, even though he's safe. That level of damage control before it's even necessary to do so could be looked at as paranoia, but I look at it as a guy who clearly knows he's a sleeper threat. And he knows the last thing he needs is to be an Ian Terry, basically be Ian Terry at the beginning of the game where everyone wants him out and he needs a vet to come in to keep his ass safe. That's not what he wants, coach. But see, that's why I tell y'all Kato Kaelin has unique upside, because he is the nerd archetype, but he is actually funny though. Usually that nerd archetype don't make nobody laugh. I think Johnny Mac was one of the few dudes who actually fit into the pegged hole of the archetype of a nerd because he was a dentist, and yet he was a fan favorite because he didn't feel like the nerd archetype. Yeah, and then you had crazy Asian James who was doing all them pranks trying to beat him out because he knew Johnny Mac. All he had to do was laugh a couple of times and say a few shit off kilter, and everyone would eat it all up. I think Kato Kaelin's going to have that effect in his game. I just don't see anyone, like I said, wasting an HOH on him this early. And now that he's safe for week one, that's even better for him, you know? So, and imagine how much the conspiracy theories would have been through the roof if somehow Dina Lohan was one of those two people safe for week one. Woo! Big brother dodged a bullet there. They dodged a big bullet there, coach. You feel it, dig me? But I believe this was a two-part question. I believe the first part of the question was who is smarter than they appear, who's dumber than they appear. I think who's dumber than they appear. I honestly want to say Eva. I'm gonna be honest, because pregame she appeared to be very solid, but in the game, you know, it's almost going back to what people were saying about her on that Total Diva show and in wrestling. You know, she's got a certain angle to her that's just a little too self-absorbed, and she just drinks her own. She I don't know. She's just full of herself. Like she loves herself a little too much. It's not a bad thing, but it's like, all right, chill out a bit. I mean, I think because she's coming into this game knowing a lot, I think she's making mistakes too. But she's not being likable in her jury confessionals as she's making these mistakes either, to at least make an excuse up for it or justify it. And that shows me production doesn't have her back at all, at least as much of her back as they have Tamar's or Candy's for that matter, where they'll actually give them the opportunity to give their take on what went down. Eva, not really so much. They kind of just make her look like somebody who's giving out commands in a way. Yeah, I would say she is appearing dumber than she actually is. And I'd say the people that aforementioned before, the latter, are the ones that are appearing smarter than they normally appear. So that's my answer to that. You feel it? Dig me, coach? Yeah, Dash Riff Rav. You know I got to keep it real. Brandon B, I'm with you too, coach. Or was that Brandon Bay? My fault. Let's see if there's some more questions, ladies and gentlemen. I think, I answered that. Let's see. By the way, shout outs to the brother Tyree in the building. Pretty Jackson. Shout outs to you, Starlight Sparkle. You know what I'm saying? Miss Mary Sims. Let's get it popping. Missy Mist. I see you, coach. Okay. I ain't tired, Daner. I don't think I've ever seen that name. Good to see some new people in the live chat. We getting it popping. But do you have any? Okay, I do see another question, ladies and gentlemen. What should Ryan do with his HOH from Fortuna or Fortune A? Let me say that correctly. What's good, Miles Cage? Let's get it popping. What should Ryan do with this HOH? I think if Ryan is smart, he fights his ass off to be the one that wins veto and takes John off to have John's loyalty the rest of the game. If he was smart enough, without the pregame alliance, let's put that to the side. If he was smart enough to realize John is clearly the smartest one there, it has to be because he's getting social cues from the DR. I'm saying without the pregame alliance effect, he has to be getting some cues from the DR to either A, work with him, or B, that he's the kingmaker in this game socially. So for him to pick him, I think that is a sign that he will most likely do whatever he can to make sure John stays this week. And I think it's smartest for his game to take John off with the veto, because he'll be the first one to deal with this twist and almost walk the entire twist back, have two nominees he's okay with, and it's almost like the twist never happened, correct? I think that's best for Ryan Lochte game long-term anyway, because if he never wins another one, let's say he wises up and says, I don't need to win another one, he'll probably be the only person who was smart enough to say, let me walk back this twist. That way, it besides the people that I choose to nominate, one of them is going to be gone. The other one's going to stay. As long as we guarantee that other person's gone as well. And I believe the two people would be, if he took John off the block, I told y'all it would be Joey Lawrence or Tom Green. I don't really see him putting up anybody else in week one. So I could definitely see that being an ideal situation for him. And I'm just worried for Tom Green. Like I mentioned before, I'm just worried for Tom Green's game. I think Ryan Lochte's the worst type of person to win this HOH, and that's why they were ranked so differently. Tom Green was ranked high because he comes off as a threat, because when you're intelligent, it's hard to sound ignorant, right? But it's easier to act dumb than it is to act smart if you're dumb, right? So to a certain extent, you have an advantage, but you also have a disadvantage because certain things in your vernacular you can't hide, just involuntarily. Even if you're playing a game, you're going to give off something. And I think Tom Green may be giving off some shit. So I can't wait for these live feeds to kick in, because I got to see what Tom Green is doing. Because hopefully he is working Kato, who is safe this week. Hopefully he's working him, and then hopefully that works Eva. And hopefully if they got those two, hopefully he can find himself to get the majority vote this week. How many votes do you need this week? There's one HOH, 2 nominees, 3 people. That's 9 votes. You need 5 votes to stay. All right. So at the end of the day, yeah, no doubt about it. Tom Green, he needs to lock in Kato Kaelin, needs to lock in Eva, and he needs to get 3 more votes. And the thing is, if he's sitting next to Joey Lawrence, it'll be much easier to get those 5 votes against him than it is to be up against John Bennett. And that's where I'm coming from on this. So Tom Green, I think he needs to make sure John Bennett's no longer on that block too. You feel it, dig me? Now I'm sure he's going to go into the veto trying to win it, but you get my point. So that's my point. I hope he's not too smart for his own good. I agree with Hunty. I agree. I apologize for kind of spoiling who won HOH. It's a common thing online. Superfans are usually a little ahead of the game. Well, I mean, we pretty much knew who was HOH anyway. Please answer Missy Miss question. Okay, I'm seeing you, Mary Sims. Let me see. Missy missed. Okay, what about Tamar calling Candy dummy during the competition? Yeah, that was bad. That was bad. I mean, she was saying, I'm calling this episode Whenever You're Ready, boo, because she was straight hoeing her in the DR. I mean, I almost at one point called this episode a whole nother thing that she said regarding her. It was what did she say about her? Oh, she said we can be cool earlier in the episode. I almost named the episode that. You know, I feel like I gotta make Tamar on the cover of this episode, on the thumbnail, but I don't know who to put with her. I'm thinking it's gotta be her and Candy to spark shit, because I put Joey Lawrence on the first one. Hopefully Joey gets eliminated over Tom Green. That way I don't have to put Joey on another thumbnail, but that's neither here nor there, because I'll have to force Tom on the next one. I try to always put someone, I try to put every member of the season on one of the thumbnails. I don't know if y'all have noticed that since the race have started, but I've tried to make sure everyone is on at least one thumbnail from the season. But yeah, so I think Tamar, man, I think she just got to check herself. I think Tamar, like I said, I think Tamar knows that this is the one thing, you know, outside of her stardom and stuff, this is the one thing that makes her a normal person. Like, people were talking about how the reason why Tamar is so likable is that she wasn't her sister. Like, she wasn't like this big star. She was like a normal person until her sister really was that big star, right? So because of that, she actually was watching these seasons of Big Brother like a normal person. So she is taking this seriously, and I think that's why she takes it so personal when they do bad in competitions. But it's like someone else said, I believe this was Brandon, member of the RBR panel. Shout outs to Brandon Llewellyn. I believe he's the one who mentioned this. He said Tamar and Candy should have swapped positions. If Tamar is the taller girl with the longer wingspan, she should be the one that is throwing the damn water to the other girl, and let Candy be the one to put it in its chalice to fill up the bubbles or whatever, the little balls or whatever those were. You know what I'm saying? So that was just bad strategy on their part. Now, maybe they couldn't choose. Maybe that's what it was, but I doubt it, because the more and more I think about it, that don't make sense, because Ryan Lochte, he was the one throwing it to John, and he picked John. And Tamar was the one who picked Candy, and Candy was throwing it to Tamar. Okay, so we already debunked that. So yeah, it was up to choice, and they just completely choked it. So that's neither here nor there. But yeah, so I definitely think Tamar, man. Hey, listen, if you think you can win this game without having Candy's vote at the end, you're crazy. So I think you need to show her respect. You feel me? Like, real talk. You need to. And if Tamar is smart, she need to be working on getting John Bennett out this week. Now, it might get her blackballed by production, all right? But I would work for it, coach. I'd be like, hey, yo, Tom Green, you want to stay here? I'm just keeping it all the way a buck with you. If I keep you, We gotta all go after Ryan Lochte next year. Now that would be dope if Tamar pulled that, but see, people think she working with Ryan, so I doubt she pulls that, which leads to John staying, which leads to John making it to the end, unfortunately. So, so I mean, you feel it, dig me? But ladies and gentlemen, this has been the first rant. Well, really the third rant of Celebrity Big Brother US2. I am your humble host, Dave Smith. This rant was entitled Whenever You Ready, Boo. And y'all know I'm ready for the smoke at all times. You feel it, dig me? Thank you for coming through. If you could, please like, share, and subscribe. And on my channel's right side of the page, click on that bell so you could be here with the most lit live chat in Celebrity Big Brother US history, bar none. I hope you all have a great ending to your Martin Luther King Day. And I hope you all have a blessed day tomorrow at work if you have to work. If you're off somehow and you're lucky with a 4-day weekend, shout outs to you, okay? Because you're one of the lucky ones. I'm about to be back grinding. You feel it, did me? But I will be back for the next rant as right after the next episode, ladies and gentlemen. So look forward to it, all right? So I'll see y'all later. Y'all be smooth and y'all be safe. Out. Deuces.